Get over here!
So nothing's changed. I think we can kind of just go to the next one. We got these guys.
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Yeah, you want to head to the Za'albul Marsh?
Any relation to the Zaha Woods?
Probably.
Where are the Zaha Woods anyway? Oh, there they are. Yeah, nothing really to, like, update on this one. We can kind of just go.
Skirmish.
So, I have an interesting question for you once we get into this chapter, and I think you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Before we get into it, again, this is a Fog of War chapter!
This is where Ephraim fights Selena in the Ephraim route.
Right, I forgot about this. Yeah, we're gonna do some prep, guys, and we'll be back. Why did it have to be Fog of War?
Yeah!
Well, this is just great.
Don't remind me. The good news is, like, okay, here's what I'm probably thinking. We're gonna go down this way, so I'm going to light up around here.
Okay.
With
Natasha.
Natasha. Screw Fog of War, man. Hey, madre mia!
That's more than I was expecting to see right away.
Yeah, and we got level 12 and level... Okay, so these guys are a little bit stronger. Not by much, though. We got Iron Axe, Halberd, Poison Axe.
The good news is I'm not seeing flying units.
Yeah.
I was afraid of, like, a bunch of moguls or gargoyles hopping over the rivers at us.
Yeah, but no, I think we should be fine here. So what I'm thinking is, like, this Entombed, can make it up here. We put Gilliam there, and he can handle, him and this Bone Walker.
Okay. I need to get a new computer chair. This one is so creaky.
Nah, you're good, man. Get some WD-40 on that.
Yeah.
Quick little question that I think you might have fun with.
Okay.
If you were to make these monsters in a D&D scenario, how would you go about it?
So I think a lot of these do have kind of D&D analogs to them.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
But I would, like, adjust the stats. So, yeah, like, that Entombed would be, like, a greater zombie.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a zombie with way more HP. And then maybe, like, poison damage on its slam attacks.
Yeah, like, some of these guys do have, poison weapons, quote-unquote.
Yeah, skeleton, you know, skeletons are already in the D&D book as, like, a, what's the word I'm looking for? As a, template.
Yeah.
So you could, like, you can effectively turn any creature skeleton by, like, changing the same values of, like...
It is true that, like, a lot of these guys, like, do kind of, like, come from your regular D&D flair of, like, that kind of monster would be.
Like, the Mogul is, like, a really simplified Beholder.
Yeah.
I say really simplified because Beholders are, like dungeon boss level.
Yeah, like, those things are super nasty.
The idea of a Beholder, if you've never seen one in the context of D&D, is giant eyeball with a bunch of smaller eyeball tentacles coming off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And generally what they do is they have an anti-magic field, so they can just shut down wizards and clerics and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they randomly shoot off 3 rays per turn that have, like, a variety of different effects, including Petrification Ray, Sleep Ray, Instant Death Ray, like, Disintegration Ray. They're nasty.
Nice dodge, Marissa.
So, whereas the Moguls would be, like, Beholders, but you take away all those rays and you give them, like, force damage.
Yeah.
Range attack.
I can also see, like, if you really want to get, like, you know, specific with them, necrotic damage, maybe.
Yeah.
But that might be getting into, like, too powerful territory, because necrotic damage can be super nasty if you're not careful.
Yeah. Necrotic makes sense to me, though. Yeah, these would just be human skeletons with different weapons equipped.
Mm-hmm.
The gargoyles in this are a lot leaner looking than the gargoyles in, like, the main D&D book. Those
True.
are, like, more, like, muscular, but I think they're basically about the same. Centaurs, 5e actually has tables for if you want to play as a centaur.
That's right.
One of the campaigns I'm playing in, actually, one of us is a centaur.
Do the centaurs here take extra damage if you hit him with a Zombato?
That was a good question. I don't think so, but that would be pretty funny if they did.
Either way, I think I'm just gonna go with the steel sword. I do want to save on that Zombato because it is a very good, like, clutch weapon if you can use it properly.
Yeah, so if I wanted to make a Tarvos in D&D, I guess I would just make, like, Centaur Barbarians.
Him and Natasha! What? We're getting so many of these, like, supports, dude.
Especially Natasha, because she's healing everybody.
That's true. What about the Moth Dukes?
I guess I would make them, like... Either I would make them wargs, but, like, with higher movement speed and dexterity, lower HP.
Yeah.
Or I would make them blink dogs and take the blink ability away.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right, because, like, those things are a thing.
Blink dogs are a great monster.
Yeah, those are, like, there are several of them, right? Because I know they're, like, blink cats, too. Or, like, panther-like monsters.
Displacer beasts.
Displacer beasts, that's it, thank
which
you.
are of a similar kind of ilk.
Yeah.
That they're kind of vibrating between the material and the ethereal plane.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's possible when you go to attack them that your attack just, like, phases through them.
Yes.
Do you have, because you play a lot of D&D and you've also DM'd a good bit.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorite monsters that you like to put into encounters?
Ooh, good question.
Because I have a lot of them.
So, fun fact, actually, you remember when we did the Fire Emblem campaign for a bit, right?
Yeah.
And, like, that one just kind of fell through because, like, everyone just got so busy and there was just way too much going on.
Yeah.
So, like, if anyone
that's
was
the fate of most D&D campaigns.
yeah. So if anyone was excited about, like, how that would play out, I'm sorry, but, like, that's on hold for the time being. But one encounter I was actually seriously looking forward to that I planned, like, not too long ago is you guys would enter a village that was beset by it's not on the map right now, but, like, so low-key, I used a lot of the monsters in Sacred Stones to kind of, like, create monster encounters in that campaign. And one boss that I was looking forward to sicking on you guys was a Cyclops.
Yeah.
So I was gonna have, like, a Cyclops alongside, like, a bunch of Bone Walkers and, like, these Revenants. And, like, the Cyclops would be, like, going around and admittedly, I kind of made it a little video gamey in that your character would be the best character to deal with that monster because you could shoot it in the eye. I kind of made it a mix of the Cyclops from this game and the what's it called from Breath of the Wild, the Hinox.
Yeah, the Hinox.
Yeah, I was basically going to have a Cyclops on there with the stats of a Hinox, and, like, that would have been a lot of fun. But in terms of a monster that I just generally like fitting into encounters, that's a good question. I think Beholders are great.
Yeah.
The problem is, again, as you said, Beholders are, like, boss level monster.
Yeah, you can't just throw Beholders around. Like,
No, those will F you up if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And, like, that's just the reality of the situation.
I like Hydras conceptually, it just never really... The problem with the Hydra in the book, in both 3.5 and in 5th edition, is that it just doesn't have enough HP for, like, what you're trying to do, and they're, like, kind of glass cannons.
Really?
Like, the Hydra gets, like, and they really are, a Hydra gets an attack for every head it has.
Yeah.
So the first time I used the Hydra, I was like, oh, I want this thing to last longer, and I was going very by the book of, like, oh, well, when it has more heads, it has more HP. But I ended up with this 10-headed Hydra, or no, this 8-headed Hydra that just, like, one round killed the cleric. And that's not fun.
Yeah.
in my defense, the cleric, like, ran up ahead of the party, and the Hydra was next in the turn order, so I was like, oh yeah, the Hydra's gonna just go right forward and screw this thing up, and, yeah, rip apart this cleric.
Yeah.
But it is an easy thing to just kind of, like, range down, and... Players always want to do, like, as a DM, you want to do the thing where, like, they're cutting heads and it's splitting in two and stuff like that, but, like, that's not what happens when you actually use a Hydra in D&D.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate
They attack
bit.
the body, and, yeah. But if you want to do that, you use my good old friend, the gelatinous cube.
Oh my god, yes! Yes, absolutely. Nice, Marissa!
Good one.
Oh, dude, actually, okay. I think I think I told this story before, but one of my favorite encounters that I've ever put together is when I made this, like, super powerful version of a black pudding.
Yeah.
Like, there was, like, there was a cool incident, or there was a cool situation where there was this black pudding.
So, for the uninitiated, slime-based enemy, usually, like, acidic slime, so,
Yeah.
like...
But, like, it was a really
when
cool...
you touch it.
It was a really cool thing, where there was this one kingdom, think Piltover.
Okay.
Think Piltover with a little bit of Zon, so...
Okay.
Piltover with Zon.
Okay.
They, like, it was a generally, like, very magical...
Steampunky kind of
Steampunk...
Magitech.
Yeah, steampunk Magitech, very advanced civilization. Their whole thing is knowledge. Like, we stand here to learn, to improve, to advance, to help the world go to the next generation. But of course, there are those who might take that and be like, hey, we can, like, go even further, even if we have to, like, break a few rules to do so, kind of thing, right? There is this one dude in the villain arc that they managed to catch early on. The thing is, he had experimented in his secret laboratory, and there was a specimen missing. And this specimen was a genetically modified black pudding who would be able to become a parasite and basically slither in and infest and take control of whatever it was, like, going into. Think the X-Parasites.
Yeah, like a body snatcher. Yeah.
Yeah, very body snatcher. I had that, like, it got to the point where, it got so big and so powerful that it took over an ice dragon. So the boss was a 3-phase gauntlet of, they had to, like, basically...
So the slime is inside a dragon.
It's
controlling the dragon.
Exactly. So the whole idea was, it was a 3-phase fight where they were fighting the dragon, but they were trying to fight it without killing it, and then try to draw the black pudding out. Here's the thing, though. They actually circumvented the second phase, because instead of knocking the dragon out, Joe's character, like an absolute boss, had claws that could grab the incorporeal, and he was like, maybe this will work with black puddings and, like, gelatinous creatures as well. I was like, this is way too cool to not do. So I let him do it. He went into the dragon's mouth, down its throat, grabbed the black pudding with his claws, and pulled it out by making the dragon sneeze.
Yeah.
So they circumvented the second phase where it was going to take even more powerful control. Think Giratina going into the second phase bit, and they got straight to the third phase where they fought the black pudding itself.
Okay.
It was super sick.
Because probably ideally you'd have to, like, do some damage to the dragon, and it would, like, get stunned, and then you'd have to, like, find a way to knock the slime out.
Exactly, but they found a really, really creative way. They made it sneeze by conjuring up a substance using prestidigitation that would make anything sneeze.
Right.
So they were like,
prestidigitation can make, like, powders, so you can, like, make pepper.
Yep, and that's exactly what they did. They made this super powerful, like, caustic pepper that made the ice dragon sneeze, and they weren't afraid of it, like, going up in smoke because it was an ice dragon.
Yeah.
So, like, I was just like, this is way too cool. Joe's character took, like, a heck ton of damage.
Yeah, it wasn't
because,
like
he was basically having the maw of a dragon coming down on him.
Yeah, it wasn't like a freebie for him to do this either.
No, but he managed to survive the hit, and he basically just, like, with sheer willpower, just pulled the black pudding out, and the fight was just awesome. The model I used for it was the gif of Red Eye from Octopath Traveler because it looked like this big gelatinous black goop.
Yeah, this like formless monster.
It was so sick. So honestly, like, black puddings and oozes in general are just super creative monsters.
You can do a lot of fun things with that.
So, like, if I had to pick my favorites, it would probably be oozes. But if we're going for something of a more, like, generic variety, you can never go wrong with zombies and skeletons. Like, honestly, like, that's just the classic.
Yeah, they're good trash mobs.
Yeah, like, they're good trash mobs. They're, like, generally decent, like, monsters in their own right. Like, they're just good monsters to use for, like, basic encounters, so you can never go wrong with them.
A lot of those kinds of things are just sort of like, you have a lot of little guys and it's just kind of flavor what you want them to be based on the area and what's going on in the story. So they can be lizard folk, they can be gnolls, they can be goblins, they can be kobolds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for the purposes of, like, the cool thing about those guys, for me personally, that I like with zombies and skeletons and whatnot, is that you can like make horde encounters with those very, very easily. And as a result, if you do that, suddenly you have a situation where like your party members have to think less about downing like one at a time with like basic attacks and whatnot, and more, oh, we need to do more AoE stuff. We need to control the battlefield. Does someone have fireball? Does someone have like black tentacles or like what's a spell that like raises up like thorny like vines?
Entangle?
Or like entangle, things like that. It's
or
like,
there's another one that's more damage based. Entangle is for like holding things in place.
thorny briars, I think it's called. I don't remember, but like that's the thing like that.
Also, we've both
like
gone back and forth between like 3.5 and Pathfinder and 5e, so it all depends on what version you're playing.
Yeah, and I suppose, like, on that regard of, like, monsters that are, like, basic, but, like, they're basic and good for a reason, are dragons.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The cool thing with dragons is that there's so many variants of them that you can easily have, like, a Drake sort of encounter where it's like, oh, like, they're not, like, the greatest of the great, but they're still, like, you know, dangerous monsters.
I like wyverns a lot when you just want something like a dragon without the breath weapons.
Yeah, wyverns are really cool, too, because, like, rather than being breath weapon-based, they're poison-based.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of wyverns do have wyvern toxin.
Yeah.
Which...
They have stingers.
Which, like, does change
they
things
have,
a lot.
like, scorpion-like tails.
Oh, speaking of another monster, these guys.
Oh, yeah, giant spider.
Yeah, giant spiders are just cool.
Great D&D monster because you can decorate the environment with webs.
And, like, a lot of that can, like, depending on the acumen of your party, can either be, like, a major hindrance or an advantage that they can use.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, set it aflame, or, like, spread the webs further to, like, you know, make it harder for other units to,
or the
to get
barbarian's
footing.
like, oh, there's web all over this wall. I'm going to scale the wall and then drop down on the spider from above.
Another one is, like, if you got spiders, like, coming down from the ceiling on a, like, on a strand, if you're fast enough, you can, like, use a throwing weapon to cut the strand and they fall. Because, yeah, fun fact, spiders can take falling damage if they're big enough.
Yeah. We had a cool adventure in one of the campaigns I'm playing in Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yeah?
Where our group of five people, finally found this fortress of Dwergar, which are deep dwarves.
Yeah.
Kind of like as drow are to elves, Dwergar are to dwarves. Who they had a castle up on the surface, and they were hatching this plan to basically take over the surface cities, and we were going there to stop them before they could complete their machine, their war machine.
Right.
So it's this big icy castle in the mountains, and the path to it is just this like one raised path right up to the front gate, and we're like, well, as soon as we like go to that, you know, we're gonna be like bottlenecked in there against like a whole bunch of angry evil dwarves.
A bunch of angry dwarves.
A bunch of angry dwarves.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. So one of our characters, Moonshadow, my friend Brittany's character, is a druid. So she did a summon nature's ally to summon 4 giant spiders.
Nice.
And then she wild shaped herself into a giant spider.
Oh,
and we all rode spiders up the side of this and like went in through one of the windows.
Oh, that's so cool.
And the DM loved it, and he was like, "This like completely changes like the pacing of the dungeon."
Oh, that's so sick. See that's the kind of stuff I love when like people can come up with things like that.
And I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet, but I hear that people have worked out a lot of like fun. I don't want to call them exploits, because the whole point of D&D is that you can come up with crazy plans like this.
I think I can actually quantify it like best, and I remember like this was your script writing. Is Baldur's Gate is a game that that gives you the potential to be stupid, and it allows you to be stupid with it.
Like, sometimes shenanigans work, and this is what that movie, Honor Among Thieves, got really right about D&D, is that a lot of it is shenanigans.
Yeah.
And you make a dumb plan, and part of it works, and part of it doesn't, and you scramble around to make up for it.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, and, like, that's the beauty of D&D, is, like, coming up with this crazy stuff. And, yeah, it actually, like, I was looking at, like, different clips that people, like, run into with Baldur's Gate, and it's amazing how many things that, like, how much the developers, like, you know, have contingencies for. It's like, oh, like, surely they didn't think of this. Suddenly you get a dialogue prompt that refers to what you just did.
Yeah.
And it's, like, so unbelievably funny. I know this one was intentional, but, like, we were talking about giant spiders, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the clip in Baldur's Gate where, like, they're, like, the party members are reacting to you, dealing with a dead giant spider?
I have not.
Gale's reaction to when you lick it, because you lick the spider because like there's something on it, and he's like, you licked a dead spider, you licked it, that is a thing that happened. I think we need to get you some air, and we're going to have a really long talk about unresolved childhood issues.
I always think about that, like, people always lick the dagger to see if there's poison on it. Like, don't do that.
And that's exactly what happened here! It's like, yeah, you licked the giant spider. Why did you do that? Why did you lick the giant spider?
I forget what that clip is from, where it's like, yep, poison. Shouldn't have licked it.
Yeah.
Falls over.
The thing is like, I know what the deal is with that spider, and it's worse than poison.
Okay.
Like, depending on who... Okay, it's worse than poison, depending on who you ask. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Oh, man, like... Again, Baldur's Gate, just like Honor Among Thieves, does recapture that sense of, like, what it feels like to play a genuine D&D campaign.
Yeah.
Because the game basically just lets you be stupid. It lets you, like...
There's a lot of things that will work, more than you might expect.
Yeah, and it's like, the game lets you make dumb decisions, or smart decisions, or whatever the heck you like, confusing decisions, and the world and the game will react in accordance with that, and it's wonderful.
I know you can, like... You can transfigure people into boxes.
Yes.
And, like... So if you are all, like, jumping over this small chasm, but you have somebody who's not as athletic... You have, like, maybe, like, a dwarf cleric or something who's not as good at the athletic or acrobatic roles.
Mm-hmm.
You can transfer them into a box, and then have someone else toss the box over the chasm.
Yep. Or you can just toss the person.
Yeah. Nobody throws a dwarf.
But yeah, that is a thing you can do. And it is glorious, and it is wonderful, and I love it.
My character in the Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign, which is an actual 5e adventure book.
Uh-huh.
So this is like a pre-written adventure that my friend Dan is running. But I'm playing a human wizard. His name is Prospero. He is a conjuration wizard, so a lot of wizards specialize in a school of magic. His is conjuration.
Of course.
So one of my favorite things, you get an ability... so one of the best spells in the game, in my opinion, Misty Step.
Absolutely.
And you can use it as a bonus action. So you can teleport, and that's not even, like, the main thing you do that turn. It's just you can only teleport, like, 30 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those uninitiated, Misty Step is basically, like, you look at a place, you decide you want to teleport there, and you teleport there.
Yeah, you're Nightcrawler.
Mm-hmm.
he has another similar ability. The Conjuration Wizard gets a class ability called Benign Transposition, which is basically the same as Misty Step, but it's not a spell, it's a thing you can do.
It's like a spell-like ability.
Yeah, you can do it once per long rest, where you can, same thing, teleport to someplace within 30 feet. But also, if there is a willing creature in that spot, and the creature is willing to do this, you can switch places with them.
Oh!
And the other thing about Benign Transposition is it's once per long rest, or if you cast a conjuration spell, it refreshes. So my thing has become, whenever one of my party members is like entangled or trapped in something, I Benign Transposition, switch places with them, bonus action Misty Step, get myself out of there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I've done like crazy combos with like basically pinballing around the field with this and like moving. For a while, one of our characters was a halfling fighter. He's dead now, but that was Dylan's character. But as a halfling, he was the slowest moving because he got tiny little legs. But I would a lot of times run ahead and then Benign Transposition to put him where I just ran to like kind of slingshot him to the front of the group when we were charging.
Cool. Okay, I dig it. Alright. I honestly want to, like, what level are you at, Marissa? 17 already?
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, she's gone up there.
Honestly, like, giving her Matisse's Tome and, like, getting all that situated worked out great.
They don't move across.
They don't.
But he has a ranged weapon.
Yeah, he has a ranged weapon. So what I'm thinking is, like, I'm going to put someone here, and they can, like, bait him, because I want to give either Marissa or Joshua the kill on this one.
Okay.
I think Garrick can take it.
Yeah, have Garrick tank, have Marissa take the kill.
Awesome.
Speaking of undead, another monster I really like that I found in the 3.5, like it was like Monster Manual 3 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's called a Drowned.
Ooh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So it's a zombie, but specifically it's a zombie of a person who has drowned.
Yes.
And they have higher HP than your average zombie. But also they give off this drowning aura, so if you're standing within 10 feet of them, you can't breathe. So you start making rolls as if you were holding your breath underwater while you're fighting them.
I remember this monster. Something similar, actually, that... so, Josh Scorcher is running a minor campaign, like a small campaign within the Curse of Strahd world. And he actually recently had us introduced to an interesting monster from apparently first edition. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a monster that apparently has an aura that saps life whenever you stand near it. So it can be like down with 0 HP on the ground, but as soon as you get close to it, it starts sapping your life and it raises from the ground.
Oh, that's fun.
So the idea is, how do we deal with this thing without making it rise again and again?
Yeah.
And like, it was funny because our group had to get like inside a tomb to like try and explore and like find this like artifact so we can deal with something like later down the line. And fun fact, we were having trouble because this thing was right at the door. So we were like, how are we going to get past this without making it wake up?
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. If I recall correctly, I think our druid character created a vine that grabbed it and pulled it away from it while it was already, while someone already woke it up and it sapped its life.
Yeah, you would need some kind of long-range spell that moves it.
Yeah, and eventually we managed to pepper it with long range, and we were like, we're just gonna leave that there and we're not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Josh's campaign, which has been like super fun, by the way, I've been like helping Quarter Guy when we started doing the campaign, right?
Yeah.
He was getting in on it, and he was like, "Hey, Scorpion, Oscar, can I get some help creating a character?" And I was like, "Okay, sure. What kind of like character did you have in mind? Like, what do you want? What are you thinking of doing?" And he was like, "Well, I talked to everyone, and it sounds like you guys need a cleric." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I was like, oh, "Perfect. Clerics are actually really good starting class characters because." Like, what you want to do with them is simple, but they're also super versatile, so you can basically, like, do what you want with them. And his idea was genius, and I love this. He went with a half-orc.
I've seen art of this character, yeah.
And it's like, half-orc is just a really good, like, race for a cleric. Because it's like, you get the best of both worlds. Like, you get the beefiness of a half-orc so you can make a tanky cleric.
Yeah.
But he also has the intelligence of a human so that he can use his spells properly. And I was like, that's brilliant. And yeah, his character's great. I was actually really impressed with how quickly Quarter Guy like took to like the idea of D&D because he's role-playing well. He's like figuring out his spells well.
Is this his first campaign?
It's his first campaign, and he's playing like champion. So shout out to Quarter Guy. He like natural D&D player.
Very
Absolutely.
cool.
Okay, so what do we got here? We got Steel Axe, Hand Axe, Tomahawk, and Hand Axe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow,
I think
really? Both?
you would.
That's redundant.
Yeah, you would think, right? I think I'm gonna have see, this is a little bit of a precarious situation because like not a lot of places to go around here.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have someone over here to bait the spider, and I'm gonna have someone here to bait the Cyclops. If the Tarvos from last chapter is anything to go by, this guy's not gonna move. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So let's have Garrick bait that Hand Axe Cyclops dude, and we can have someone else bait that spider. Joshua can handle a spider, right? Ooh, wait a second, that's a lethal talon.
I think that does poison damage.
It might just do poison damage, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even tell me the freaking stats for it.
Yeah, because they don't have stats the same way weapons do.
I guess like okay, 14 strength. Yeah.
I think he'll be okay.
What's Joshua's defense? 6. Yours is 8. Wow, Marissa, you caught up. You know what? I think we can kind of just go ahead and like let like Garrick bait them, and we can go from there. Again, like I don't fear for their life, but I also don't want to like take any unnecessary risks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, excellent idea giving Gilliam the swift soul.
Yeah, mobile armor is nice.
So, what I was actually getting at with the whole Quarter Guy thing.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Favorite race in Dungeons & Dragons?
That's tough.
Because everyone has different answers for this, for multiple reasons.
That's really tough. I'm one of those players who really likes playing the obscure races a lot.
Uh-huh. Oh, he does move! Okay.
Technically speaking, all around, the best race in D&D is human.
Yes.
Because it's the most versatile.
Yes. But... You're like, okay, where's the rest of it, John?
I've been really wanting to play a dwarf lately. I've never played a dwarf.
I don't think I've ever played a dwarf either, actually, now that I think about it.
I think my favorite... So I'm gonna go just, like, from, like, the base races before you get, like, really weird.
Yeah.
I think my favorite is gnomes.
Ooh, okay.
Because, like, the in-universe lore of them, that they're, like, kind of silly, they're kind of techy, too. That made me nervous, but...
No, you're fine, you're fine. Artur...
Ooh.
I mean, not what I wanted him to do, because I wanted to save that for Marissa, but fine.
Yeah, Artur's
sure.
taking that for himself.
Goodness.
Well, Artur and Marissa are now, like, about the same level, so... My first character I ever played was a gnome who, depending if Patty actually does his campaign that he's been interested in doing, I might bring Festy back.
All right.
I also you can be a gnome in Baldur's Gate 3, right?
I believe so. Gnome, halfling. I know you can be a dwarf.
If you could be a gnome, I think when I do play Baldur's Gate 3, I'm gonna make Festy, who is my first character.
Nice.
But yeah, I think they're kind of funny. It's a little bit of a different flavor from halfling. To halflings are more like hobbits.
Yeah, halflings tend to be more on the clever / witty side, whereas
Gnomes, part of it is that they have background in the Fae.
Yes.
They have kind of a more magical bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas halflings are more mundane. And when you get into stats, then there's a lot of differences. But
yeah,
like from the outlook to the uninitiated, they're just like two both like shorter humanoids.
Mm-hmm.
But I like gnomes a little bit more. Gnomes tend to have a lot of funny names. In 3.5, I don't know if this is true anymore, but there is a lore thing in the official book, which, if you're homebrewing your campaign, you don't have to do this. But
yeah.
I liked that gnomes... every gnome had, like, dozens of different names, because instead of having one name that's your identity, each gnome has their own name for you.
I do remember this, yeah.
So, like, your mother might call you one thing, and your father might call you another thing, and your friends might call you a different thing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I recall. I think I recall something about that. I never actually experienced it myself, because like not a lot of people play gnomes.
Yeah. Also, being size category small and being able to get into places where other people can't
has its advantages.
Yeah,
absolutely has its advantages, which you were also learning very, very quickly in Baldur's Gate 3, because there are a lot of places where you can like sneak in, but you need to be a small thing in order to do so. And thank God that disguise self can count for that, because you can disguise yourself as a halfling and suddenly you can fit into those spaces. So that's always fun.
Yeah. So short answer would be gnome.
Yeah, I'm the boring guy, and like honestly, like my favorite is human, but that's also because again, like humans are just that good.
Yeah, isn't Locke a half elf?
That's actually the other race that I was going to say would probably be my favorite is the half elf, because ooh wait, I just realized that's a full on kill on
Arthur.
On Arthur if he hits that. Yeah, this thing's beefy. Curious.
Yeah, I think maybe let's soften up with Natasha.
Yeah, as long as we kill it this turn, we should be able to, like, deal with it. Ow!
Can that other enemy reach Natasha down there?
No, the Entombed can't.
I didn't think so. Okay.
But always good to make sure.
Yeah.
Always good to make sure. I have a contingency plan should we not kill with Marissa.
Yeah. Level 19.
Nice. Alright. Let's see if we can do it with the Shamshir.
Come on. Come on, crit. Ah.
Just in case. And then...
Oh, I thought you were going to rescue. Yeah, that should do it.
Nice.
Yeah, unless we were, like, the most unlucky people.
Which we have been!
Yeah.
Mind you.
Level 19 on Arthur.
Do we need to remind ourselves of what happened to Makalov? Then again, that might be less us and more Makalov.
Yeah, that was his kind of luck.
Just to be safe.
Sure.
Nah, I'm just gonna keep her there.
The other campaign I'm playing in right now, I've been playing in Aarakocra.
Oh, nice. Those are the bird people, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of like Rito.
Mm-hmm. If I had to pick a more unconventional race, this is likely like Amber's influence, but like I really want to try doing a merfolk of some kind.
Yeah. Depending on what edition you're playing, I do recommend if it's in 5e, I recommend Triton. That's the. So yeah, the campaign, the campaign I'm playing where we're all paladins. I'm playing an Aarakocra, and my friend Dan is playing a Triton, and my other friend Isaac is playing a Centaur.
Nice. Oh man, that reminds me of when Zach played a Drider.
That was great.
That was cool. Thessaly was her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Drider was really cool.
This was Pathfinder, so she was her class was Brawler. Which is sort of like a mix of the fighter and the monk class.
Yeah.
Just like instead of like the spiritual side of monk, it's more just like
you hit things really, really hard.
Yeah. If you want to be unarmed, but you don't want to be like a high wisdom character, you want to still act like a fighter.
Yeah, like that's another thing, is that like human being like arguably the best and most versatile class, you can never go wrong with fighter as a class. Because, like, fighter just lets you do pretty much anything.
Yeah. Usually, what happens with me when I make a character, though, is that there's, like, a kind of idea or a kind of something I want to do. Like, there's a core idea that isn't necessarily, like, advantageous.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick that, and then I try and build around how to make it, like, an actual good character.
Yeah, that's usually what I do.
Like, right now, I kind of want to play an Oracle, is one of my ideas for a character, which in Pathfinder is not a very good class.
Yeah. Remember in 3.5 when psionics were busted?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where the rest of them are. We kind of just have to look around, huh?
Guess so.
See, those kinds of situations make me nervous. Who's hurt? You're hurt. You know, I'm gonna prioritize who's got a... like, Natasha doesn't really have a way to heal herself.
Nope.
Well, as long as we don't put her in any danger, we're fine.
Yeah, this is before Live to Serve was a thing.
Oh, man, dude, I love that skill. Oh, hi. There you are, with the Zombato.
Yeah, are you the last guy?
I hope so. Well, he's in... Gilliam's in range of him, so hopefully yes. Chink.
And of course I also played Banquo, who was essentially a homebrew race.
Yeah.
In a way. Because he was a skeleton, but we had to, like, figure out... No, there's still somebody around here.
Where are they?
Joe and I had to figure out different stipulations of how this undead character was going to function.
Like, I'm kind of just moving forward with the characters that I know for a fact can survive at least a couple hits. Yeah, no, Banquo, I think, was one of the cooler characters you ever created, because... Like, not to sound biased or anything, because, like, you know, I was in the campaign that you played him with, but... Like, that was just a neat idea, and a really, really cool way to make an anti-paladin.
Yeah.
Which, like, anti-paladin's not a common class because of the stipulations behind, like, you know, you have to be evil in order to, like, in order to be able to even play it.
Because that all started with, like, I wanted to answer the question of, like, when a necromancer raises skeletons, how do they work? And how smart are they?
Mm-hmm.
And do they get smarter over time? So, made this character who basically could have been that Bone Walker, just like some mindless thing.
Oh, thank God, Garrick!
Good crit. Oh man, I hope there's nobody else back there, though. Okay.
Phew!
Finding a Sword Slayer in the dark isn't very nice.
What the? Dude! Freaking...
Yeah, when you just hide specialty weapons like that in the fog.
Freaking Fog of War! I hate it! I hate it! I hate it!
See, that's the problem with Iron Man, is the game is like, oh, well, if you don't like it, just restart the chapter. And we're like, no!
Okay, there's one left. Where is it? Garrick, you get the hell out of here. Like, I'm just gonna have Gilliam, like, handle this. What the... I'm suddenly so mad. Why do you pull that crap?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Because it was a Sword Slayer, I had all the confidence that that Centaur would have doubled.
Yeah.
Or could have. Especially because he was holding a blade.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just glad that he crit. Where is it?
I guess keep moving right, yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid to have Vanessa go out in scope, because it could be like a Bone Walker with...
She also has no more charges.
That's Natasha.
Natasha, or... Oh, Vanessa, you said.
Yeah.
Maybe they are up here.
I know. Vanessa, Natasha, Marissa, there's a lot of
there's
those
a lot of
kinds
sus.
names.
Because, like, now I'm afraid that there's another specialty weapon of some kind out there. Maybe they're down here?
It could be.
Sorry, like, I've suddenly become, like, super paranoid. My God.
It could also be down and to the left.
I hate Fog of War, man.
Yeah, and this is just like... This I just think isn't very well designed. That it's just going to stand in one place. I mean, I think Franz is probably fine to search around.
Maybe it's over here?
Yeah, there's not many other places left for it to be.
Like, Garrick, I think, is healthy now that he can search around.
Yeah.
But again, Sword Slayer, man! You don't just pull something out like that!
Well, what are the odds of there being another Sword Slayer? They wouldn't put two Sword Slayers in the fog.
Oh my God. Like, don't do that to me, man. I'm suddenly lightheaded. Oh my God, where is this thing? Ugh.
Yeah, now I'm maybe thinking at the very top of the map, though. I thought it would have shown up when we... I think it would have charged at us at the beginning.
At some point, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Do you want to fast forward?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back, guys.
Yeah!
Okay, there you are. I'm surprised you didn't want to attack us at the very beginning of the chapter.
Oh my God.
We were, like, right up there.
No, my...
See, this should be programmed that, like, after a certain point, they just start, like, actively seeking you out and moving towards you. Not just standing there.
Anyway... We're done now, right?
Yeah, no.
Dude. Garrick? That Sword Slayer scared the ever-loving shit out of me.
Makes him feel alive.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed our... I don't know how long this was, like 40-minute rant about D&D. It's not even a rant, it was just like gushing about how much we love D&D. Fog of War sucks.
Yep, no death.
Fog of War sucks, man.
No death for us, we're fine.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. I need a drink. Again. Water this time, though.
Yeah.
That gave me a headache.